I'd like to ask Antonio concerning the ability to teach invention or inventiveness. And is there a difference between inventiveness and originality? I've thought about this myself, and I don't know how to teach originality. I've always thought of originality as being something like some internal force that the individual may have inside him that needs somehow to be released, but you can't teach it, at least the way I understand it. But you said that you can teach how to invent, and so I'm wondering if there's a difference and what you mean.
No, really, I agree with you. These are two completely different things. What I think is that suppose that you want to help somebody to become an artist. Of course, it's very difficult that you can teach to somebody to become an artist because it is a sort of vocation. But suppose that I don't do anything in order that your talent comes out. It is a completely different story in some sense. So it is possible to stimulate the young people to invent. Of course, each of them has his or her own potentiality. And on this side, it is difficult to do something. But it is, in some sense, possible to create the environment in which the talented people comes out with new ideas. And this deserves an effort on our side. Because if you leave this part of their attitude sleeping, I think that the result is bad. In some sense, you have the chance to stimulate this inventive part. And you can do that, for example, starting from activities that are not necessarily involving their ability to invent really something. Suppose that you suggest to start from invention that they can find in the patents database. Then they can start with this activity, but they are trained to think that there is something that is that inventing is a possibility, is a chance, something like that.
Okay, thank you. So I understand from this that it's not really teaching the inventiveness in this situation, but it's trying to somehow free this internal force that allows people to create an environment where their originality or inventiveness can come out. Okay. Yes, the gentleman over here on the left. This is Professor Gadi Golan, the president of our institution.
Yeah, concerning your question, maybe the answer should be a little bit more general. What we do in our education today, we are educating our students to somehow, I can call it a compromise. So, for example, if we want to cool this room, we teach them the technology, how to cool the room. So how do you do it? You compromise. You say, if I take a small air conditioner, well, it won't make the whole job. If I take a huge air conditioner, I'll freeze the people. So let's compromise. Let's do some compromise with the size of the air conditioner and the room, and let's come to what we call optimization. But optimization is a problem, because we teach our students to be to optimize situation. And this is not true. What we would like to do is actually the ex-Soviet countries know, I'm sure, the trees, the Altshuler idea. Actually, who knows the Altshuler, the trees? One, two, three, four. Not all of you? The trees, Altshuler, inventive thinking? No? I was sure everybody knows. So the idea of, in Israel, everybody knows. Yes. Yes. So what's the idea with inventive thinking? It's not that we are teaching the students how to invent. Somebody can come to you and say, find me a nice lady, or make me rich. Invent something to make me rich. This is stupid. I cannot find you a lady and I cannot make you rich. But what I can do systematically using an algorithm is defining a problem which has got a basic contradiction and make a solution. For example, if I want, let's say on this small barrier, to have on one side plus 100 degrees and on the other side minus 100 degrees. This is a basic contradiction. I cannot do it. If I can find the contradiction, there is a solution, there is an algorithm for a solution to this basic problem. So what we do with our students in these courses, which are called inventive thinking, and actually all of the students are taking these courses, is to define the problem, to see where the contradiction is, and then to come with a solution using the Altshuler's 40 steps. There are lots of material, literature about this idea. So this is what we mean by being creative or inventive. It's not, we invent contradictive problems. And this is what we do in order to find a solution. This is the way I see it.
Anyone else? Yes.
Some notes. My name is Zakharchenko. I am Vice President of the Hadassah Academic College in Jerusalem, Israel. Some notes. First of all, as Gadi said, optimization is I think it is a part of the definition of technology. As we say, in science we look for the ideal solution. In technology we look for the optimal solution. It is a part of the definition. Because if we spend all our time of looking for the ideal solution, technology will never work. I think it's typical to see that here in Israel, Gadi saw that everyone in the world knows about Altshuler's way of innovated, what we call innovative creative thinking. Actually, as I mentioned, we in Israel learned Altshuler's ideas about 30 years ago, or even more, and we built programs for elementary schools, for high schools, and for colleges and on universities, mostly in engineering, for using the Altshuler ideas to build them in the technological thinking of our scientists and engineers. I would like to tell you, in last summer, I spent some time in Korea. There was a academic impact conference about, among other things, about the connection between academic institutes and the industry. And you know about South Korea and its place in the, for instance, the PISA exams and other international exams, where South Korea is very, very high. South Korea students are very, very high. You know that 95% of High Korea secondary school graduates continue to same kind of tertiary education. And I was interviewed in the Korean television and was asked, okay, what can we, the South Koreans, learn from you, the Israelis? And I said, you can learn what we are really good in is creative thinking and innovative thinking. And they said, yes, we know that in this field you are much better than us, but we don't need to study it. We just buy your inventive thinking. And I think it's something to think about. Thank you.
Anyone else? In that case, yes.
You spoke about how your collaboration with the industry concerning the different products in the curriculum, whether it's elective courses or the labs that they opened. I was wondering if you could speak about how you assure academic standards, high academic standards in your collaboration with the industry to make sure that they are, in fact, holding up to the standards that your institution has set.
As I understood, question was about how our institution, our academy, meet the standards.
In your collaboration with the industry, because you're having external stakeholders
I understand. I think these questions appear because of I missed some explanation about the diagram that was presented. I missed this explanation because of interest of time, but now I try to make some explanation. Each study program includes mandatory and elective part as was presented. Mandatory part depends of national requirements for higher education degrees, depends of concrete degrees, for example, short cycle or first cycle or second cycle of higher education, and also mandatory part degrees depends of professional standards. The professional standards, national professional standards, are created on the base of international standards that is established by international convention on standards of training, certification for seafarers and watchkeeping. At the same, this compliance of mandatory parts and professional standards is requirements, very strong requirements as from Ministry of Education and Science, Youth and Sports of Ukraine and from Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine. In Ukraine we have special body as inspection for on questions of training and certification for seafarers. And at the same time, each study program includes elective part. This elective part may be created by each institution in accordance with requirements of their partners from business. Is it enough? Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else want to make a comment? In that case,